Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, Those Daring Defenders, Episode 5. We are on the last of what I'm calling the prequel stories. That is Submariner number 35, and I enjoyed this one. This is going to be a fun little chat, little me gush about Sal Buscema, about the Avengers, my number one love in the Marvel Universe, in the teamy kind of world. But let's get through some of the heavy lifting, some of the data, the little what's and wherefores of this issue, and then I'll give you my overly dramatic opinion. And here we go. It is Submariner number 35, cover date March 1971, so was published late December 1970. I am a baby. It's a little one. I love that, I'm not even, I guess I'm just over 6 here. So this is the title of the story is The Titan, well, not The Titans, Titans 3. I think that would have been the team, but we get the Defenders instead, and you'll next week you'll get a little bit about that. And our friend of the podcast, Ron from Fantastic Comic Fan, comes on and he gives me a lesson in Defenders history. It's great. A lot of fun. But that's next week. For right now, it's Titans 3. It is written by Roy Thomas. Woohoo! Penciled by Sal Buscema. Woohoo! Inks by Jim Mooney. Beautiful. Jim Mooney. Perfect for Sal Buscema, especially this era, the early 70s Marvel. Great. Letterer, Gene Izzo. Editor, Stan the Man Lee. Lineup, Submariner. Hulk, the Bruce Banner one. Silver Surfer. Supporting cast of Lady Dorma and Ichthon. Antagonist of the United Nations, Colonel Willis. And guest starring the Avengers. The 3 active people in this story are Iron Man, Thor, the original Thor, and Clint Barton Goliath. But we do see a meeting of the Avengers where Captain America, Vision, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver and the Wasp are present. And that's about it. So let us do the little mini let's see what the synopsis is. Here we go. We're going to get this right from the Marvel database. Poised to stop the activation of an experimental UN device in order to prevent it from destroying the Earth, Namor, the Hulk, and the Silver Surfer confront the U.S. military leader guarding the installation. However, when the commanding officer refuses to allow Namor scientists to check out the device to ensure it does not pose any threat, Namor decides to secure the land by force. The United Nations then calls the Avengers for aid, who send Thor, Iron Man, and Goliath to stop the Titans 3. Meanwhile, Ichthon and Dorma arrive on the island and quickly head to the device while Namor, Hulk, and Surfer confront the arriving Avengers. While the superheroes battle, Dorma manages to convince the army to allow them to examine the device. When Ichthon repairs a flaw in the device that could threaten the world, the Avengers stop fighting the Titans 3, realizing their error. Fed up with all the altercations, the Hulk and Silver Surfer leave separately, thus disbanding the Titans 3. And the Avengers depart after paying their respects to the Monarch of the Sea. This is a really jam-packed comic. Again, it's the 70s. The stories are a little longer. There's a lot of action, it's Roy. There's a lot of dialogue, a little exposition. But the fight scenes are great. Sal Buscema can draw a fight scene. Lots of punches and people flying and big, dramatic, sweeping motions. I love it. It was a lot of fun. I really don't know where this would have gone with them. This is the 3 main characters. I mean, this is the first two issues of a Silver Surfer without Stan writing them, and that was kind of the hindrance. And it's when they move into Marvel Feature with their next story and become the Defenders, it's just because Doc Strange in it. I think Silver Surfer's in the first few adventures. So basically the core Defenders are, Doc Strange, Submariner, Silver Surfer, and the Hulk. And then quickly followed by the amazing Valkyrie, Broomhilda. So there's a lot of... This is just the setup. It doesn't really directly lead into that story. It doesn't... it's just, this would have been... I guess this would have been the last tryout, and then they would have had... Or this would have been the precursor to a tryout in Marvel feature, which became the Defenders, and they do 3 issues and then they get their own book. But it's neat, and then I think we've seen the wrap up of the Doctor Strange story with the Undying, and oh good God, the big computer guy, which will play a huge part in Defenders mythos forever, which comes back early on in Defenders, the regular book. But this one is just basically, it's a good. I have an itch. I may go back and read some of these Submariners because I've been enjoying the 3 I read. And I like this one because I really like Sal Buscema's art in this period. It's a little bit before his Marvel team-up stuff, or maybe it's at the same time and I just never really realized it. But there's a cleanness to this. Jim Mooney is, I think, perfect inker for him. It's such a wonderful, dynamic action comic with, verbose, conversations and stuff like that. But it's just, Sal has he has this style that's all his own. He's very different than his brother, and there's a fun to it. There's a good energy to it. I mean, you can see the motion. He draws he has flight lines and the way he divides. Like there's a panel on panel 1 in page 3. When they're moving, the movement is white while the background of the panel is red. Lot of great straight, he draws the motion. It's hard to describe. He has the squiggly lines or the straight lines that show you speed. His giant machine is very Kirby-esque and wonderful. I love the way he draws the Hulk. And he would draw Avengers regularly in like the 70 issues in the 70s. And especially when Clint was Goliath, and I really like that. I could feel I was reading Avengers at the same time. I mean, this would be about that time, and it's just great. And they're great. There's on page 11. It's great where you see the Avengers getting out of their 70 style Quinjet. They had a specific shape to it. And they're on this rocky beach, and then on the cliff above them stand Silver Surfer, Submariner, and Hulk above the 3 that they're going to battle: Iron Man, Thor, and Goliath. And of course, Hulk's on 13. Hulk starts the fight a little bit. Well, I mean, Thor's getting lippy, and then he does it. But it's great. You see Clint John. It's just 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Those are all one fight. It is 5 pages of fun, joyous, Sal Buscema action-packed fisticuffs, and I love it. It's a really good comic. It's a simple kind of one-and-done story. The device is really a MacGuffin to get them in action with the Avengers, and I get that. And just to have the fight, it's a really simple. Once Goliath starts to drown and the Submariner saves him, and that stops the fight, and then they find out that Ichthon and Dorma have fixed the machine and blah blah blah. It's just a lot of fun. Oh, hi, Monkey's the cat's here giving her opinion. She wants to go out, and I'm not letting her. But also, I'm looking at some of the trivia. The cover's a great cover, and let me get back to that in the app. Who did the cover? That's not Sal? Is it Sal? Let us look, because I didn't tell you that. No, cover by Sal Buscema, except the Hulk's face has been fixed by Herb Trimp for some reason on this cover, it says in the journal. But, this is it. It's the final. That's it for this issue, folks. It's just a big fight scene, a little bit of interaction with these 3 characters, and then we're going to take a totally different turn next week with Marvel Features number 1, introducing the Defenders. But I wanted to do these 5. I think this was a lot of fun. I think they're worth your time to read. Check out some Sal Buscema art. I'm going to be putting some pages up on the Twitter feed with this. It's glorious and fun, and you'll like it. I really recommend it. I really recommend that if you can get the essentials, or you can. These are all the comics I've talked about have been on the app, and they look great on the app. So check that out. Also, again, if you're a Defenders fan, check out Tighten Up the Defense. I'm always going to say that I'm playing catch up, and I'm enjoying it. But folks, you can catch me on Twitter at JSA4E. That is at JSA, the number 4, the letter E. You can catch my other podcast, Gallifrey's Most Wanted, and the Runcible Report on the internet. Check me out at Gallifrey's MW Pod or at Runcible Report. And check out those podcasts. I appreciate it. Please go back and check out the past catalog if you're just jumping on here, and give us a listen. If you're listening on YouTube, and if you're not, please go on and like and subscribe and press that little bell. It will help me. I'm trying to build that audience. I am planning my first real video, and I've picked this. I think I've picked the subject, and I'm going to film it probably in the next week or two. And I hope it goes well. I'm going to try something simple and hope you like it, and then do more on the video. And then I may do, special video only stuff. So I would like to hear what you think when I get there, and that's gone up. And if you would just, listen, check out the YouTube channel and like and subscribe. It would be a big help, and I'd appreciate it. And if you're on, please give us a ranking on the regular podcast feeds that you listen to. Give us a review or 5 stars if you feel that inclined. Anything helps the podcast algorithm, and more people will listen, and we can build a little fun little community here, and I can meet new people to have on as guests. I love having I've had Billy D, I've had Jennifer, I've had Marty, and Jim Fetters, did I say that? And Ron from Fantastic Comic Fan, and more coming up. So just check that out. Also, there's a poll up. It's the next team up. So scroll down there. It's between Superman, Starman, and DC Comics Presents, The Thing and Gollum in Marvel 2-in-1, Human Torch and Spider-Man in Marvel Team Up, and Batman in Brave and the Bold. So please vote for that. And until then, you all be good, you be smart, you be kind, and you read some comic books.